My roommate decided to knock over my candle, so I'm not going to light it this time, but we'll probably light it next time. Keep that candle on the side where the wax spilled. Alright, it smells really good. So, I'm so glad I got a chair. It's not the one that I wanted, but it's the one that I deserved here, so. Alright, so how come nobody ever goes in that old house? That's so dumb. It's so easy to get to, and so much stuff is in there. It's just like, you just drop in the ceiling, you know? I think it's because everyone wants to, like, secretly they want to live here. But they can't. So that's what I have to tell them. They can't live here because this is a fictional island that doesn't exist for the purposes of this game. Whatever that means, just know that it isn't a metaphor. It's a video game. Oh. Damn it. Almost had it. We got a letter candle now because fallen rewards is not something good. Alright. Here we go. There we go. Oh, 9,900. It's gonna smell like honeysuckle in here. It's gonna be great. My roommate actually did me a favor. It's gonna make it smell like honeysuckle in here forever. And also my toothpick things. Let's throw that away. Also my toothbrush. Throw that away too. Awesome. So, man, just lots and lots of stuff. Got some water over here. I don't always drink Monster. Oh. Oh man, just really wish that I could keep my stuff around, but I don't have a big enough room, and I keep getting loot crates, and I want to be able to make sure that I can keep them and stuff, and keep them freaking safe so I can sell them later, eventually, or just sell a whole collection of them. So cool. But oh, that's probably a good one. Fleetingness, or not just fleetingness, but rush to organize. Being rushed to organize is so bad for you. Just remember that. Being rushed to organize is so bad. Remember, it's like a lot of people don't get where that stuff actually comes from. They don't get where all that stuff actually is. Like being rushed to organize can give you the wrong reflexes and can make you susceptible to something else besides the thing you're actually doing or something like that. And Okay, it's healing. Most of the time, I think people don't realize that they're actually like very lucky to have the things that they have, you know? Like I feel lucky that I have the things that I have. I just recently kind of did a start over for my my drawings, so I just kind of gave them all away basically to this one person or to this couple of people, maybe a few people, and so kind of just trying to start over my logo and start over everything. It's not my rights or anything like that. There's no real thing, I guess, but except for my business, so they can't use that logo. So they can use the style though, so the style is pretty easily made and easily reproduced most of the time. So I guess a lot of times overproducing sometimes is what I shouldn't do, I guess, because I'm very talented. I am extremely talented at things, and what my dad was trying to do was show me what burnout does, and I was trying to tell him that I already knew what burnout did, and that's why I played that video game for a while. That was a joke. Okay, cool. Alright, yeah, I'll be done. Hold on. Alright. Alright, we're back, and I know what people might think about absolute burnout. They don't understand that people get burnt out pretty often, and it's the reason why parents hate their children sometimes and just want them to stop and just stop, you know? But most of the time I think that people should understand that having a certain amount of unrelaxing ways can actually contribute to that. So the more times I see a certain person hurting, or someone just losing some of it and they're not really sure how it happened, the more I look back to things that people do in order to kind of get by, the more I see a bunch of people who are hungry, are starving, or just not like or not just, I guess they're not just they're just not doing things right, you know? Like, okay, study the tracks. So it went up like this, so he was going this way. Most of the time, though, I see myself looking through another part of that image and seeing something they could have done to be able to relax themselves. Just like getting a regular chair, or getting yeah, getting instead of sitting in folding chairs and stuff like that, and limiting themselves, they could do so much more than just that. So just, I don't know. Maybe they don't have the budget for it, but besides that, I think that people should understand that there are ways to be able to mimic things that people don't understand. But the more I think people try to mimic those things, though, like certain inconsistencies in life, the more that people think that that thing is close to becoming what do you mean? Close to becoming like real, or the experience is real, or the person is more genuine as a talker or a thinker. And that's supremely not the case most of the time. And people should understand that that's the reason why a lot of people, okay, there were a lot of different things that people used to do back in the day, and the reason why they watch their hands is because they didn't know, sometimes, not to say that they didn't know what they were saying, but they would memorize words beforehand, and then literally spout them, and then say their own words in between, and then that's when they would start moving their hands. They're not lying per se, but they're taking something or ripping something from a news story, and then the stuff that they is usually the part where they start moving their hands. That's where I think a lot of different people's tells are around, and so you can tell when someone is not lying about a news story, but is concerned over something that they don't need to be concerned over, and the more I kind of tell those different tells and different things like that, the more I see that that there are very big inconsistencies when it comes around to the point where people don't get to make those decisions by themselves. Like they don't get to make those decisions by themselves. Like they don't work with just a team. They work with a team of linguists. They work with a team of people who know what things mean, and what phrasing and what way and stuff like that. And I'm moving my hands off camera, but I'm not actually showing my hands, because most of the time I don't really want to insinuate that I'm actually doing anything, or I'm actually saying anything that makes any sense to me. And most of the time, that's the reason why I'm trying to kind of like grasp parts of my brain as far as things go. People don't understand that whole concept. They're like they think that that situation or that technique is lost to the centuries or something like that. But the sensations that you feel are usually like a part of your nervous system waking up, or a part of your life kind of realizing something that was that's new, or whatchamacallit, or seeing something that you wouldn't normally see. So the more you try to take away from that, the more you'll realize that it's just something that people can do with themselves. They can change their, not genetic structure, but the reflexes to be able to eventually change their genetic structure so they can more clearly talk, I guess, and more clearly enunciate. So linguists use this technique all the time, and they don't understand why people use their hands. So you can have visual cues, like visual cues, basically, to be able to understand what you're trying to say or how you're trying to say it. But burnout has a lot to do with that, because the more you use those parts of your brains, the more you use those parts of your brain matter, the more it changes. So the more it changes, the more you start to change your reflexes from the real world to video games. And in some cases, people don't understand where these reflexes actually come from. Most of the time, this actually game probably started out as a jumping simulator, as a parachuting simulator, because most of the time people didn't realize this is because they decommissioned a lot of games for military use. And the reason why something becomes available and a company becomes public usually is because they're finished using the things that they're using in the certain instances that they're using them in, so the reason why something isn't public is because it's currently being tinkered with and applied to different stuff inside of a But most of the time, people don't get the point of that whole thing. They don't get the point of what that means, or they don't realize, oh, the government is controlling everything. It's like, no, the government is keeping the economy rolling, and that is the point and the reason why people still get to make money. And no matter what they're doing legally, they get to make money, and they get to have money, and they get to spend it. So that's the reason why a lot of people don't realize that it's so important to keep those things under wraps. It's so important for governments, and governments all around the world have done this, and they don't want to say that, but that's the point. Is it's not just about things. It's about there are so many bad people out there that actually do want to cause harm to any economy they can. That there are situations and scenarios that are built mainly just to prevent that from happening. And they should understand that those situations are few and far between. But that's the reason why people should understand that there are basic need structures, and there are basic constructs that are mostly what people need to keep, I think, sometimes, to understand the concepts that are incoming. So the more that there is some sort of situation that arises from a certain scenario, or a burnout, or a person that could be doing something better with themselves isn't doing something, uh, they don't realize that they miss out on so much, and they miss out on everything that they possibly ever could. But that's how people try to make money on their own. They try to make money. They try to open markets. They try to inform the government and inform the people, and they try to let people know that that there are markets that are incoming and very, very volatile if taken lightly sometimes. And most of the time, people don't understand that older people, they don't take things lightly. Basically, they take everything as a situation where something could go wrong. But that's the point too. Is most of the time, or that's next to the point. Basically, is the older you get, the more your reflexes stick with you. Sometimes, the more your reflexes slow, and the harder it is to change those reflexes. So. And that's why in like they compared vampires to olden times, people who defied logic, basically. Older people who would just live forever for no reason. They called them Highlanders. They called them High Plains Walkers. They called them a whole bunch of different things to make them go somewhere else to hide their identity, basically, not realizing that they were mutating the whole time. Like, most of the time, people didn't realize that those people were going through mutations of healing and a lot of different stuff, and that's why they were considered magic and so powerful and all those other different things. And that's where all these characters came from, the Zeuses and the Greek mythology. It's where it all came from. There were people with extraordinary abilities in ancient times, and they didn't know where they came from or what they did. They thought they were completely alien, when in actuality they were just subsets of different mutations that actually happen in people. So that's where all these things actually came from. But more burnout is because people were burnt out on a lot of different things. So they would blame anyone. They would blame anyone they possibly could over something that went wrong, because they wanted someone to blame, so they didn't have to tell someone about something that they did. Because, that's right. Most of the time, people were trying to hide their secrets, hide their family secrets, hide their family money, a lot of different things. So people would allow that sort of stuff to be able to hide their family secrets, hide their family money, a whole bunch of different stuff like that. And what would actually wind up happening is corruption would spring up because of it inside of a government, and especially if the people were connected, there would be a cover-up, not realizing that they were trying to protect someone's. Huh? What's up?
You're gonna bring the food to my parents?
Yeah, you said 20 minutes. It's been 28 or 15, I think. Do you want me to go now?
Yeah, it's his goofball where he's gonna carve out.
Who, Brandon?
Yeah, he had to go get cigarettes or some shit.
All right. Okay.
Just be ready.
I'm ready. All right. So, the more times I look back at situations, and the more times that people really didn't realize that they were doing something that was considered taboo in other countries. They didn't realize that most of those people had tabs on those people, and through burnout, there were a lot of different times where they got it wrong, or they said the wrong thing, or they got the wrong guy, or something like that. But they didn't realize is that the more that things went through changes, and the more that people went through changes, the more that things and people actually started to mutate, the more strict our government actually got, because of things that actually could go wrong. And if you look in most of the laws that we have now, or if you see in most of the laws that we have now and notice the structure of the sentencing and a lot of different things, it's meant to protect against a lot of different people who are bound by no law, basically. Not exactly bound by no law, but but moreover to protect and inform basically the people about certain particular radiation poisonings, uh, mutations, and viruses as well. And that's where people would actually come up with that code that you would see as far as well, Stephen Colbert and Dana Carvey and Jimmy Kimmel and Dana Carvey actually kind of did it well. It was just a little while ago. I watched it downstairs, and I started them saying things like "to" and "from" and all that other different stuff. What's up? How's it going? You want me to go now? Okay. All right. But those were used in like World War II to be able to tell if there were radiation poisonings, without telling anyone else, to be able to let people know that there was something that they needed to take care of, like a sick or dying animal, or something near a certain part of radiation that they would be able to get to in order to turn it off, or to try to explode it in case they needed to explode it to be able to minimize certain radiation poisonings and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool, and it was really awesome what a lot of people did to help. And I'm gonna stop right here because I gotta go do something. But have a good day, and you are your own one-person bomb squad. You can defuse situations that happen, but if you think they're happening and they're not happening, realize this: go seek a therapist. Go seek someone. Go seek anyone you can to be able, maybe just a support group, maybe just a friend to make you feel better, maybe someone to make you feel comfortable. Because if you're not feeling comfortable, then the situation you're in isn't helping you. It's not that if a person's bad or a person's good or anything like that. Just realize that situation isn't going to help you, but you can still learn something from any situation. You can learn something from any situation, and you should. So realize that and understand the concepts of a bunch of stuff, I guess. Have a good day.